It's Bristol, baby, but with a couple of twists. Instead of the usual 250 laps around the asphalt oval, it's only 125 laps around the dirt oval. Welcome back to the Irish Stock Car Association for round 2 of the ISCA ButtKicker Cup Series, round number 2 in the second season of 2021. I'm Nolan Rample with Al Kozlowski joining me in the booth today. Al, not down on the track this time, but this time going to be joining me up here in the booth. So, Al, we got set to go racing for dirt racing for what I believe might just be the first time in ISCA history.
Yeah, many watched that invitational last night with the Cup drivers and some pro drivers from iRacing, and they made it look easy. Tonight, these guys have just got just as much talent, and we're probably not going to make it look easy. This has been a very it's a testing track. Either you got it or you don't. I raced one of these races this week, and I realized quickly I didn't have it, so I stopped, parked my car, and realized I'm in. But tonight, with the sponsor of Sugarland, racing on dirt, this brings back the old moonshining days. Sugarland's got some very tasty moonshine, and we're going to be racing these stock cars on dirt like they did back in the day. So let's get this moonshine party started here. We got some qualifying going on right now. The 92 of Clayton Hoffman is my pick to win the race tonight. He is presently on the pole with a 17.551. The 48 of Chris Johnson looks like he just turned a 17.656. Severa in the 01 is third presently with a 17.702. Greg Wachinski in the 2 is fourth with an 18.470. And Craig Johnson in that 83 has turned to 18.496. Kenny Powell at a 19.617. And we're still waiting on the rest of the field to qualify, but we've got a very small field tonight. What's interesting about this track, Nolan, is this race does not go against your asphalt license in iRacing. This goes against your dirt license. So if you watch, you'll see some of these guys in there look like they have their rookies. We have Wayne Grassi, Craig Johnson, Randy Drumhiller, and Clayton Hoffman. They're all rookies that are qualified in dirt. That means they really don't run a lot of dirt, and they're rookies. Now we have some D-class drivers in here, and that is the next level up from rookie, and that would be Chris Johnson and Kenny Powell and Greg Wachinski. And then we have some level one step above the D, which is a C license. And those drivers would be Brian Johnson, Chris Severa, and Paul Olson. So we've got a wide variety of talent here. It doesn't mean that these licenses don't necessarily mean that one driver is better than the other. It just means one races more on dirt than the other. So I can't wait. We're going to get this ButtKicker Sugarland competition up, and we're going to have a fun time tonight, Nolan.
Those have watched this practice have probably noticed the track is looking a lot brighter than it was in practice. That is due in part to the fact that for qualifying, the track has been reworked. So that means a lot of the grip has come back to the track. Now, as the race goes on, we are going to have to watch for that bottom line really start to slicken on off. Right now, the bottom is the place to be. That's where all the speed is going to be because that's where all the track is right now. It's very tacky out there in the dirt. It's very grippy. But as the race goes on, we're going to have to watch for that line to move further and further up the track as the bottom starts to slick off, forcing these drivers to run closer and closer to the wall, which can really just suck you in if you tag it the wrong way. So I think watching for that moving cushion, that's where it's going to be at today. Got to remember as well, a lot of these guys might be pulling some good old slide jobs. We haven't seen that too often so far in ISCA history. Of course, this is one of the first times we've seen these guys on the dirt in the history of the league. So it's going to be very entertaining to see what we're going to have here tonight. It's been a smaller grid, only 10 cars so far registered for tonight's race. But I think with those 10 cars over about 125 laps, it's going to be a shorter race than normal. It still should be a very, very exciting race. 7 cars have set times. You got Hoffman, like you said, Al, on pole with a 17.551, your pick to win, all the way to the bottom. And 2 seconds off the pace is Kenny Powell. He is 1 second off the pace of Randy Drumhiller, who is, well, like I said, 1 second up the road in front of him. Not to mention, you got 2 guys of Greg Wachinski and Craig Johnson running almost a second behind Chris Johnson and Chris Severa as well. Qualifying is coming to a close, though. We're going to take a quick step away. We'll take a listen here to the National Anthem, and we'll be back with your starting grid.
drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the Bristol Motor Speedway, but the good old-fashioned dirt layout. The guys who just finished up with their drivers meeting down there, we're getting set to go racing around what is, well, it's usually a 28-degree bank track here, Al, but this time it is an 18-degree bank track due to the dirt. You cannot really run, cars at 28 degrees of banking on dirt. It really doesn't work out.
Now, you'll notice some of these drivers are going to get loose on these corners, Nolan, but if they had that banking that the asphalt track has, they would really get loose. There's no way to keep it under control. So we'll see a lot of sliding on every one of these turns, and we'll see sliding into people. The safest place for you to be is on the bottom line if you're going to be laying it out. If you're going to hang it out, you don't want to be on the high side because the only thing between you and the wall is air, and that's it, and you'll catch that rear and the wall. The good thing is, as long as you can catch that rear into the wall, you're really not going to impact the stability of the car. And if you catch that front end in this thing, as we're going to see probably some of these cars having no front end before the middle of this race, you still won't be impacted that much. I mean, in my opinion, the less horsepower you have here, probably the better your car is going to drive as we watch this start. Let's go through the grid, Noah.
Clayton Hoffman sits on pole with Chris Johnson beside him on the front row. It is going to be Chris Severa in third with Wojcinski in fourth. Greg Johnson starts in fifth place with Randy Drumhiller in sixth. Seventh place, Kenny Powell, Paul Wilson in eighth. Not setting times are Brian Johnson and Wayne Grossi. So a 10-car field going to set to rumble away. The official Barry, the pace truck driver, is going to be driving on out there right underneath Larry, the flag man's flag stand for the final time today before we go green flag racing for what could be a very quick race here. We're predicting that if this race runs green, everybody's going to be going home in about 45 minutes. It'll be a very quick race. Down the back straighter, though, for the final time today, this is going to be the big ticket question. Do we get a caution? If you do get a caution, how many cars get torn up in it? We've only got 10 to make it 125 laps, so we got to hope that these guys can run it green for as long as possible. Race truck's going to pull off in the hands here of Clayton Hoffman, who is continuing to hold the wheels, wait for that green flag, which draws right about now on the loud pedal. Big wheel spin from the 92. We're off and away. Chris Johnson of the 48 gets the jump on him around the outside line, but he's going to understeer hard into the cushion and up to the wall. Going to almost nick the wall off of two, but managed to keep it out of it. Now he's side by side with Chris Severa for the second position. Johnson is super struggling here on the outside line. He's getting sucked up into that cushion. We're green, though, for the first two laps of the race.
And it's going to take these guys roughly about 2 to 3 laps for these tires to start to inflate. They start these tires out at like 10 pounds on the left sides, and then probably 15 or 20, not even 20, probably 15 to 18 on the right side. So these tires got to inflate up before they actually get more grip. And they start it low like that to get the grip. But you'll see some of these guys playing it safe and hoping that there's going to be a caution. But some are just waiting for this track to kind of leather up a little bit, as we call it, and that's where they'll get the more grip out of it. But it looks like a pretty clean start so far.
Yet almost half the cars in the field already have damage. Kenny Powell has got slight damage. So does Randy Drumhiller. Brian Johnson has damage. So does Craig Johnson. Greg Wojcinski steps that back in big time and has to overcorrect. So 4 of the 10 cars already have major damage on the left sides of the race cars, on the right sides of the race cars from tagging the wall. In fact, Craig Johnson just hit the wall again. He's side by side with Brian Johnson. Now the 18 is going to tag the wall again out of turn 2. This thing is going to bend up the rear of his machine as well on just the 5th lap. So unfortunately, Johnson is really struggling here in that 83 machine, and he's going to have his car torn to pieces by the end of this. But now Brian Johnson smacks the wall.
I know, and I'm watching the 7, Wayne Grossi. He is running this thing like it's an oval car. He's not even running like it's dirt. He's got very little slide coming off these turns. He's trying to run this thing like it's a asphalt car.
The problem is that's not where the speed is. You got to get that back end stepped out because that's where the speed is. You cannot run this as if it's a NASCAR track, though it is a very fine line for stepping that back end out a bit too much. And if we want to really take a look at what you guys are running this track right, we should take a look up to the top 2, Chris Severa and Clayton Hoffman, who are right now running nose to tail. Severa is really trying to pressure the 92 car for the race lead here on just the 9th lap of the race. They cross over onto that now. they've already have got Paul Olsen in their sights as they ace up turn 2. They've already got the back half of the field. That shows you just how quicker these guys are. If they're lapping these guys, but every 12, 20 laps, we could be seeing guys like Paul Olsen probably as much as 10 laps down by the end of the race, not even for being involved in accidents.
They got some synchronized spinning going on those top two. I do believe we're going to watch Severa. He's going to take that high line around him because that's going to be the fastest way around is that high side.
What Severa is trying to do is enter high, exit low. He uses the banking to kind of let the car drip down and pick up a bit more acceleration. That allows him to carry more momentum through these corners here. You can see Clayton Hoffman all sorts of out of shape in front of him as he's taking a bit of a lower, higher line, but that means Hoffman's got to lift off a lot more on corner exit to avoid slamming the wall, and that is what's caused the back end to kind of fishtail back over to the right side of the racetrack. Oh no, Hoffman's in the wall hard, and Severa's going to go underneath for the race lead. They get caught up as they try to lap Paul Olsen, who completely got in the way there of the 92 car Clayton Hoffman. Now Severa's almost losing the back end. No, here comes Hoffman trying to fight back around the outside line. Crossing over, lap number 13. Can Hoffman get it done around the outside line? Already, we got our first lead change of the night, and it looks like your pick to win. Not doing so hot right now.
Yeah, we just got, 15 laps, not even in this. So, I mean, it's not over till it's over. I don't hear anybody singing.
Cars lined away to the inside and into the inside wall. Randy Drumhill just tagged the inside wall in, I believe, turn number 4. Stepped that back end out way too much. Just slid all the way down the racetrack. It's a perfect example of what not to do at a track like this. So now we see Severa trying to get on the outside of Wayne Grossi. He is going to do so successfully. So far, everybody is running single file right now. So while we got a quick ball in the action here, perfect time to really kind of promote a new series that's been introduced just this year, the DraftKings Challenge. The last race was the first Saturday of March, and that was a huge success. We believe it had, 35 cars-ish turned up for a 94-lap race in Talladega. Well, round 2 is going to be coming up here real quick on April the 3rd. A 100-lap race around Daytona International Speedway and the High Bank 2.5-mile oval. It is going to be a fun one.
It definitely is. I can't wait for that day. I may even run that. That could be fun. I'm watching these lap cars, and if they stay out of the leader's way, that will help Chris Severa. Oh, they just came down in front of Clayton Hoffman. Kenny Powell gets really loose there. That's what's going to, take into effect here is these lap cars. These guys have already lapped, 3 cars already? And we're not even in this thing. We're in 18 laps. I mean, they're already put down, 4 cars a lap down. So there's only 6 cars left on the lead lap, Nolan.
Battles on for the final position inside the top 5, which the leaders are closing in on. Greg Wyszynski trying to get away past Craig Johnson. Johnson is all sorts of out of shape. He's fishtailing almost all the way to the bottom of the racetrack here before diving it back in, kind of hooking the car around for 3 and 4. Wyszynski is really struggling to try to close in the gap, but here comes Chris Severa, who might split this battle up, or this battle could back him up into Clayton Hoffman. It can really kind of go both ways. Johnson tags the outside wall hard, slides all the way down.
Oh, that was close.
Severa shoots the gap up the middle and puts both cars a lap down, and that allows Wyszynski through to easily take the position.
Yeah, Chris Severa is making this look like a walk in the park. I mean, Clayton Hoffman is slowly starting to see him leave. He's got to get around these lap cars just as easy as Severa did. But all it's going to take is Severa to get cocky and lose control of that car. Just spin around, and Clayton Hoffman will take advantage of that and get right in there. Because he is back in that, he's kind of diamond in the corners a little bit too much, in my opinion. Severa is. And that's going to allow Hoffman to get an advantage of catching him.
That's the way it's seen here, how this will play out. Of course, it is a pretty long dirt race. I mean, most dirt races are between 30 and 50 laps after usually about 2 or 3 heat races and a couple of consolation races. This is just a straight 125-lap sprint. Right now, the only proverbial red box you got on the track for battles is coming from the 8th and 9th positions here, as Kenny Powell just way overdrove turn 3 and body slammed the wall again. He's in a battle with Wayne Grossi here right now. Paul Olsen just dropped out of that red box, but now Powell's trying to go over the outside again and nearly nicks the wall. Oh, he's going to nick it here, though. Got straightened up out of turn 4, but he's still going to try to get the pass done here around the outside of Wayne Grossi for the 8th position. Powell tags the wall again, tearing that car up, but he does get the pass done.
Yeah, I think Wayne Grossi kind of sees what Kenny's doing. He's kind of just hitting that wall, and he's kind of scared. He doesn't know if Kenny's going to hit it the wrong spot and push him down into him or not. So it looks like Kenny.
Johnson just got dumped by Craig Johnson. Chris Johnson dumped by Craig Johnson.
Don't come back on the
driver dumped by one of the lap cars in turn 3.
Yeah, these lap cars, they can play a big role in this.
What happened there was, I believe, Craig Johnson got a bit tight on the entry, washed up, and just cleaned him out. Now Kenny Powell is in the mix. He's going to try to go around the outside of Craig Johnson, but he's going to tag them all again. Kenny, what are you doing? Look out for Drumhiller slides. Big hit there for Johnson and for Randy Drumhiller. Drumhiller's suspension is destroyed pretty much because of that. I think he might have tagged the pit barrels as well. Now he's got Chris Johnson trying to work around the outside, and the 44 car no longer has a front clip. Same with Craig Johnson. These guys are probably going to have meatball flags here in a second, which means they have to come into pit road. Sure enough, Randy Drumhiller coming to pit road this time to get that serve. If you don't serve those meatball flags, iRacing will disqualify you for driving with an unsafe race car.
Yeah, and that's, I think Drumhiller is going to call it a day. Yeah, he's going to park that thing. He come in for parallel parking, and he's not even able to get in his pits correctly. So he's got a lot of damage.
Big gaggle of cars on the, I believe that was the front straight they just crossed over. Brian Johnson tags the wall. You got Chris Severia, race leader, just behind him. Wayne Gross is in this mix as well, and he is actually in an active battle with Paul Olsen just up the road here, trying to get away through as the leaders are trying to lap these guys. So this is a pretty intense fight between 7th and 8th here on the track. All things considered, as the leaders start to pull away. Severia's about to lap Brian Johnson for 4th. Olsen is doing a good job at hanging on to that spot, though, on the bottom side, but he is no match for the 7 car who's going to breeze by high.
Yeah, it looks like the 01 of Chris Severia is just putting on a clinic. He's 5 seconds in front of Clayton Hoffman, and he's just working his 3. Yeah, he just put down the 4 car, Brian Johnson, at lap down. So there is literally only 3 cars left on the lead lap. That is Chris Severia, Clayton Hoffman, and Chris Johnson in that 48. And if you blink, Chris Johnson in that 48 is going to go down the lap, and there's just going to be 2 cars left on the lead lap. And we're 32 laps in. We're a quarter of the way through this race.
93 laps remaining. Clayton Hoffman has, by the way, lost massive touch up front to Severa, who is unfortunately a good 6 seconds in front, so we're not going to be seeing a battle for the lead anytime soon. Drumhiller back on the racing surface, so we do have all 10 cars back in the running order. Still no front clip, though, on the 44 car. He's going to have to wait for a caution here to really kind of settle things out a bit more, but I don't think he's going to get one for a very long while. It is going to be a bit tricky here for these guys to bring out a caution. Only 10 cars on the racing surface. Craig Johnson is kind of in the middle of a big group of cars here, right in front of Hoffman, who nearly tags the back end of the 83. Oh, and takes him out. Hoffman put into the wall by the lap car. Craig Johnson, who's 2 laps down.
Yeah, that's exactly what you don't want to see. Now, Chris Severa wants to see that, but that's not what Clayton Hoffman wants to see. They just added 2 seconds to the gap between first and second. And that's what you have these problems with the lap cars. You've got to try to make your way around it. And these guys would like to be, courteous and pull aside, but they can't. The grooves in this track would not allow them to safely get out of your way. If they try to get out of their way, more than likely they're going to, put themselves right in your way. So they just have to keep on racing, and you have to find a way to get around them. If this race keeps going like this, Nolan, we are probably going to see 1 car left on the lead lap when this ends, and that's going to be the leader.
Caution flag is out. Randy Drumhiller sideways, I believe, might be turn number 2. Was the solo car spin? It looks like it was just a single car spin for that 44 machine, who was already 7 laps down. He's towed it back to pit road. That is going to be a big help, though, for Brian Johnson, who will get the Lucky Dog free pass if they do that on the dirt tracks here, and will be able to get himself back onto the lead lap. Caution number 1 on lap 39.
Yeah, he will get the Lucky Dog, and he'll get back on the lead lap, and he might want to. The only reason these guys are going to pit right now is to make changes to their car. I mean, they don't like the way it's handling. They've got to make some changes some way, somehow here. And let's see. It looks like Severa, the leader, is going to come in, and I don't know if he's going to come in and he doesn't have any tape on that car. I'm sure of that. He's got 0 tape, but I don't know why he's pitting. That's kind of odd.
Well, what he might, like, a couple of these guys might be doing is coming in to fix damage. Maybe he's got some damage on the car that we can't see. Well, while we're under caution for the first time today, we're going to take a quick step away, and we'll be right back when we come around to take that green flag.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing that.
Still under caution for the first time tonight here at the Bristol dirt track on lap 42 of 125, 85 laps remaining. We believe it'll be about 84 when we come around to take that green flag. It's been an entertaining race so far, to say the very least. For only 10 cars, it just goes to show that even 10 cars can put on a pretty good dirt race here. Looks like we are getting set to go green. The running order so far is going to be Chris Johnson, Chris Severa, Brian Johnson. Clayton Hoffman is in pit road on the restart lap. Bold stretch there from the 92 car. Greg Wachinski's in 5th, Powell 6th, the lap down. So is Wayne Grassi, Olsen, Craig Johnson, Drumhill at the cause of the caution. He is out of the race. So you got half the cars right now coming through turns 1 and 2, but the field is coming through 3 and 4 here, Al. So this could be a very hectic restart here. Pace Trust going to pull it on up to pit road in the hands of a torn up Chris Johnson. The 48 car is going to get a big jump on the field. Here comes Severa. They're trying the high side. He gets cut off by the 48. Down for turn 1, but Severa's going to try to force that outside line. Now he gets tapped and put into the wall as Brian Johnson follows him up the track. Half the field, including Clayton Hoffman, they're still half a track back.
Yeah, the Johnson boys are all up there just attacking Severa. He doesn't know what to think. And Chris Johnson's holding his own up there. It looks like, Severa got a little bit too squirrely on the side, but he got the grip coming off. He's going to successfully pull that off. It looks like if he can just hold that center line instead of going to the very bottom, he'll get more drive off.
Sliding way up.
Well, here we go. He's going to get him this time. Oh,
great job from the
no. Oh, synchronized. Three wide.
3 wide for the race lead into turn 3, and Johnson trying to get the over-under here on Severa, trying to pull the wool over his eyes, but Severa manages to somehow pull that one off, and Severa re-inherits the lead. Now it's a battle between Chris and Brian for second and third. Brian Johnson just got the lucky dog free pass last time by, but Johnson, that is Brian Johnson, all out of shape. Look at Clayton Hoffman. He's making a big charge through the order. He's just on the outside of the podium positions.
Yeah, we got the Johnson brothers up here second and third, and they're putting on one hell of a show. Oh, Brian catches the wall in that Ford machine. You guys have to get this car under control. Look at the dirt flying from these wheels. That'll get all packed down as soon as that rubber gets into that clay. Now, the banking on this, I know we mentioned that before, but the banking on this in these turns is roughly about 12 degrees less than asphalt. And they have to do that because if it was regular, if they just put a thin layer of dirt or clay down, this isn't dirt, this is clay. I don't know if it's Alabama clay or what it is, but if they just put a thin layer of this down, that banking would be extremely high, and it would be very difficult for these guys to drive in these corners.
And Hoffman promotes himself up to the third position as Brian Johnson caught the wall and had to slide all the way down to the inside wall to avoid from going all the way around. You're going to start to notice as well, a lot of these guys that are picking that outside line. It's more risky to be up there, but they are taking it because the bottom side of the racetrack, you can already see it's grown a lot darker. It's almost black in some places. That's because of how much the track has slickened off from all the cars running down there early on. There's no dust being kicked up down there as well because of all the water that's kind of seeped through to the surface of the clay because of everybody just pounding it into the racing surface. And that has forced a lot of these cars up high because right now the only grip is unfortunately also where there is no grip, right up in the cushion in the outside wall. That's where a lot of the grip is right now. Definitely not on the bottom side anymore. Kenny Powell slams the wall again as he's trying to get around Wayne Grossi for the 6th position.
Well, Brian Johnson in that 4 machine, he is giving that wall hell. I mean, he continually slams this wall. He is trying to run that high line, and it's just not working for him. There is way too much grip up there, and he's not able to slide like he wants to. It's what it's doing. It's forcing his nose to point towards the bottom of the track, and that gets him extremely loose. He's going to catch these barrels coming off one of these corners if he doesn't be careful.
For 6th is still very much on, or at least it was, until Powell hit the wall again. Now he's in a fight with Greg Wyszynski here. Wyszynski, though, 1 lap ahead and trying to put him a lap down here, so Powell might just have to let him through, but Powell is just destroying his car against the outside wall, just like he was in the first stint. And he's going to tag it again. Powell has absolutely no front-end grip on that 24 machine.
Yeah, that's not what the leaders want to see right in front of them. It looks like Severa is going to try to go high, and he has to back way off in order not to get into that wall. And he successfully makes it around Kenny Powell. He's being chased by Chris Johnson, who's only about a second, and not even a second and a half behind him. So one bad move by Chris Severa, and it would take and capitalize for Chris Johnson pretty good here. Chris goes around the outside, trying to get around Paul Olsen.
Oh, no! Got in front of them.
Kenny Powell. I told you, Kenny Powell, his lap cars. He gets into him, and that's going to give Chris Johnson an opportunity.
Kenny Powell slid all the way down the racetrack from the outside line right into Chris Severa, who just doored him right in the left side of the racetrack. Nothing Severa could do about it. That's unfortunately, again, on Kenny Powell, who slams the outside wall again just now. I mean, Kenny has just torn his race car to bits. It may as well be a demolition derby car at this point. I've seen, street stocks, dirt street stocks that don't get beat up this much in their own dirt races, and they're made for contact.
You got to remember that these cars are not made for contact. You don't have as much sheet metal on these cars, but somebody needs to tell Chris Johnson at 48 that, because he's using this wall to get around these turns. Watch how now I think he's going to stop it. Nope, he's going to keep hitting the wall, and he's going to ride it right out. Look at him just tearing up that right side against that wall.
It was a bit of a glitch back on the asphalt side, where it was actually faster to ride the outside wall than actually take the racing line. That could very well be the case here, and that's why we're seeing Chris Johnson really getting close to the outside wall. Body slams it again, as does Chris Severa. I think they're both trying to use that outside wall to get some extra speed. They're now catching Greg Wyszynski in the 5th position, and just up ahead of him is Wayne Grossi and Craig Johnson. You got 3 cars here, all on different laps from each other, that these people are going to try to get around. Severa's going to have to go low around Wyszynski, nearly wipes out the 2, and this is really going to allow Chris Johnson here to close in for that race lead. So the through turns 3 and 4 again, we are going to be halfway this time by at the line. 62 and a half laps down, 62 and a half to go here at Bristol Dirt. Already halfway through the 125 lap race as Severa laps 5th place.
I think Chris Johnson got into that Sugarlands apple pie moonshine, because he just is continually smacking that wall. I mean, I can't figure out. Whoa, big wreck there, and I think that's Craig Johnson.
It is.
Free. He wanted to climb the wall, looks like.
What Craig Johnson did, I have to commend him for, because instead of bouncing it back down to try to save it, he just turned the car hard right to keep it pinned up against the outside wall and let everybody behind him through. Massive round of applause for the 83 car for keeping himself into the wall, sacrificing his own machine to make sure he didn't take out the leaders. Absolutely great driving there to be aware of the race leaders coming through for that 83 car.
No, I can't figure out. I'm just sitting over here just laughing my tail off. That Chris Johnson is he just can't stay off this wall. I mean, how many times do you have to hit it before you realize it's not going to move, you know? He's not getting anywhere by tearing up his car here. And he's just building up incident points. He may be only getting 1 or 2 at a time. He may be getting nothing. I don't know. But he continuously hits that wall. There's going to be nothing left of that right side of that car.
Well, there is no incident limit. There is no penalty for getting a certain amount of incident points. So, again, I think Johnson is riding that wall to get some extra speed, which, honestly, if it's in the game, it's fair game. They were not told that they were not allowed to do that. So it may be tearing up his race car, but if it works, it works. You got to get that edge, especially with a guy like Chris Severo, who has been so dominant all day long. Now, though, they catch Kenny Powell, who they had trouble getting around the first time because Kenny Powell got all sorts of loose. Looks like, though, they're going to get by him this time without any difficulties. Still 6-7 tenths of a second between your top two.
Yeah, this is a hell of a battle in first and second, but for some reason, they're walking away from third place. Clayton Hoffman, he's 6.5 seconds behind the leader, and it's just growing. I don't know if he's caught. Let's take and watch him for a minute. He must be stuck in with lap car.
I think he's just slow. Remember, he did come down twice under that last caution. He doesn't have a lot of grip either. He was really working that wheel, had the almost full lock to the left as he was trying to find a way through, and then he slid all the way up, had to jam the wheel hard right to keep it straight. I don't think Hoffman really knows how to drive this dirt track. He is one of the drivers, should note, who does have a rookie dirt license. He does not run dirt very much, so that might be the case. This might be his kryptonite here.
Yeah, as soon as we'll do 2 more laps on the exterior view here with Chris Severo, and then we'll go in cars. He tries to pass cars and kind of give us a little bit of a glimpse on what it's like to race on this dirt track and try to get around these guys.
Well, when we go in car with Severo, you're going to see there is a lot more wheel work than we're used to seeing. It's going to start with a very hard jerk hard jerk to the left. He's going to turn left, and then he's going to be counter steering right, basically all the way through the corner. And this is where throttle management comes in big time. A lot of people say, you steer dirt cars with the throttle. It is certainly true in especially sprint car racing. Sprint car racing, do not use the wheel to turn. You use the throttle to turn. And those cars, they're made to do one thing, that is turn left. Same deal with these cars. They're a bit more bulky, they're a bit heavier, less responsive, sure. Concept is still the same. You use the throttle to get that back end step down more. So if you just lift off the throttle and keep your wheel jammed hard left, it is not going to turn. You are going to end up in a wall. The wheel, if anything, is just to make little corrections here or there. The throttle, that's where all the control is.
Nolan, if I know Chris Severo, you're going to see some fast hands when we go in car. Let's go in car with Chris Severo. You're going to see some fast hands here.
Take a look at this. To the left, really hard left, gets on the throttle again, now starts to jerk that wheel a little bit more to the right, seesawing that back and forth to keep that car at exactly that wheel wants. He's starting to pull away here as well. Once again, look at this, turning even further to the right, almost full lock to the right now, as he is really working this machine, but it is working for him. He's keeping it clean, keeping it up the wall. Once again, hard left just to get it turned in, and then balancing with the right, balancing with the throttle. It is so difficult to control these cars at this racetrack, and what you are seeing here is the prime example of how to get it done.
Yeah, Severo has got this thing down packed and mastered. He's making this look like it's a walk in the park, and this is absolutely no walk in the park. This is a nightmare on Elm Street, if you ask me.
Yeah, it is certainly not easy to control these cars, but damn, is it good fun. Brian Johnson was just there, put a lap down. Actually, check that. Brian Johnson is just ahead of these guys. You see Brian Johnson there in the 4th position. Oh, there you go. There just got.
Oh, yeah, he didn't hit that groove just right. He's got to calm it down because Chris is back there plowing into that wall. Wow, he's maybe afraid of what's going on in front of him. Oh,
you do see what I mean here, though, Al. You see how he's lifting off the throttle there? Even with the wheel to turn hard lock to the left, with no throttle, that car ain't going to turn. That's exactly the perfect point of what I'm saying here. You got to keep your foot in the gas pedal if this car is going to keep turning left.
Yeah, he's got a lot of wheel motion going on here. And when he's got to get around these guys, he's trying to hold that high line to stay away from him, and that's where he's having to not be able to slide like he's so used to. He's redlined. So at 9,600 RPMs, all the way down to about 77, 78, and then back before he gets to the next corner, red line on that tack. And here he goes, Kenny Powell again. Let's watch and see if he can safely get around Kenny Powell.
Oh, tags him on the back.
Yeah.
Well, it is worth noting that Severa is really not happy with Kenny Powell after that first incident there. The two of them certainly did not quite agree over who was quite at fault over the first incident that they both got involved with. So Severa might just be showing some of that displeasure there in that 0-1. Or he scored at 0-1. He's got 31 in the car. Not sure what the deal is with that, but in that 31, I guess, machine that we see running out there through turns 3 and 4 right now.
Well, I will mention that Chris Severa took tires the first time he went in. And Chris Johnson in second is on 83 lap tires, running 2 seconds behind the leader. Not saying tires are everything here, but I mean, they shouldn't wear down that much, and it should be that huge of an advantage. I just think Chris Johnson in that 48 machine had too much of a love affair with that wall that caused him to be 3 seconds behind. But he is safely, if this goes green all the way for another 32 laps, he's perfectly fine because he is 9 seconds in front of my pick to win the race, Clayton Hoffman in that 92 machine.
Coming around turns 3 and 4, it will be 40 laps remaining at the line. Severa is going to go and put Ray Wachinski down to the left, gives him the bumper as well. Severa not being patient at all with these lap cars. Severa goes up high in turn 2. That's going to allow Severa in on the bottom as Wachinski lets him through. So with less than 40 laps to go, we are now in that final third of the race. Let's take one more quick commercial break, and we'll be back with you right through to the checkered flag.
Getting into this particular business, it was very important for us to make sure that we were putting out the most authentic product. Sugarlands Distilling Company is a fantastic distillery in downtown Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Our goal is to spread across the country. We would love your help in doing it.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at TheButtKicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Caution out. For the second time tonight, Craig Johnson lost the back end off of turn number 2. Slid around as he overcorrected, slammed the outside wall in the middle of the backstretch, had a self-spin in turn number 3. Kenny Powell got into him as well, so with Johnson facing 180 degrees the wrong way, the caution flag did come out, and Clinton Hoffman was just a couple seconds away from being lapped. Once again, Brian Johnson with that lucky dog free pass.
And that puts us, 4 cars back on the lead lap. Let's see. I'm kind of curious to see if we see Chris Johnson come in and get some tires, and maybe we even see Brian Johnson. The only reason they would come and get tires is to bring down those tire pressures. As you've seen the benefit of that lower tire pressure, Chris Severa went in and got tires and came out. He's got 40 laps fresher tires. The tread is fine, but the tire pressure is lower. So he probably has more speed underneath him than that. So will Chris Johnson and Brian Johnson take a lead from him and do the same thing?
Brian Johnson does. They've already passed by the pits for when they had their chance. Severa stayed out, so did Chris Johnson. So that leaves Clayton Hoffman, who did come down for tires, along with Brian Johnson. So yes, the bottom cars on the lead lap did come in, but the top 2 stayed out. So we'll have to see just what this is going to mean. Of course, this is actually bad news for Wojcinski, who could have gotten another lap back, but he's not going to be able to now because he is still behind the leader under the pace car. He's not right behind the pace car.
Yeah, 34 laps left right now. And when we go green, it'll be roughly about 31 laps. Let's watch Brian Johnson in that 4 machine, because he's going to have roughly about 50 lap fresher tires. Clayton Hoffman came in and got tires too, by the way.
That's worth noting. They're going to have about 50 lap fresher tire from the leader. It'll be almost 100 laps fresher from Chris Johnson in the 48 car. So that's going to be the big kicker question here, is how is that going to handle us? I believe we're going to get the 1 to green signal this time by.
Well, we're going to see some battling going on up front. Both of Chris's, Chris Severa and Chris Johnson, are going to try to keep Brian Johnson and Clayton Hoffman behind them. If they can do that, then they stand a chance to be okay. If they can't do that, it's going to be a drama, because there's going to be some wrecking going on. So this restart is going to be something we do not want to blink and miss.
Down the back straightaway. We'll have 31 laps remaining when we take the green flag. The final quarter about to get underway. So we watch as Severa eases her control car. Barry, the pace car driver, takes it down the pit road. Severa on the loud pedal. He is very much off and away. Chris Johnson out of shape, nearly takes the outside wall, but he keeps it steady. Looks like Clayton Hoffman's already fading back. Wojcinski tried to get the run, but couldn't get there. So it's a top 4 breakaway, really a top 3 breakaway, as it is a hornet's nest in the back portion of the field.
Let's take a close look at that 7. Remember, I told you he's racing us like a Bristol asphalt race. Look at how he's closing in on this field. They're all sliding around. He's just driving right around them.
Not quite there, though. Lost momentum as he did get loose off the corner. Had to make a lot of corrections there to keep that car going the right way. Battle on for the race lead. Chris Johnson trying to get the over-under on Chris Severa. Almost got the nose in there. Not quite, though. Severa sliding up, just really flirting with that wall. Stepping that right recorder panel out. Johnson does tag the wall, then swings it back up to try to get more momentum, but he's going to tag the wall this time as he cannot get the back end stepped out as much as he needed to keep the speed up. Oh, now Johnson's right up the wall and nearly goes into the catch fencing, which would have brought out our 3rd caution of the night.
Oh, Clayton Hoffman goes around, and he's probably going to get a penalty. They're wrecking. That's going to bring out a caution.
There we go.
Going to bring a caution.
I'm sorry, iRacing, but that was way too late for that caution. That caution should have come out at least 5 seconds sooner. That was stupid how late that yellow flag came out. We got 3 cars.
We're going to see that Clayton Hoffman got a black flag for that, Nolan, because he came down and clipped that yellow cone. And when you clip that yellow cone, that is a commitment line for pit road. So he probably got a too fast entering pit road penalty. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to have to come in for a black flag penalty when we go green again.
It's worth noting that Wayne Grossi and Greg Wojcinski, their race was actually separate from Hoffman's. Wojcinski just got loose. Grossi tagged him, sent them both around, and Hoffman just happened to be in the middle when they bounced back up onto the racetrack. So unfortunately, Hoffman's mistake had nothing to do with why that wreck started.
Well, that seven machine is, he looks like he's able to keep that engine nice and cool, because he is missing not only a front bumper, but he's missing a hood.
And those, with all the dust on the track, there could be dust that could get lodged in the engine too, which is definitely not what you want to see, because you look at the front of some of these guys like Chris Johnson, Chris Severa, look at how covered the fronts of their cars are with dirt here. There is nothing to protect Wayne Grossi's engine from all the dirt and dust that could get gunked in there and make that car break down. Oh,
I guarantee you that NASCAR has developed a cover that goes around the breather to keep the dirt and dust out from the carburetor, because that they wouldn't be running them if they couldn't. I mean, there is some filtration way to keep this dust and dirt. We used to use, back in the old dirt track, we would use almost like a foam cover that we'd wrap around our air breather, and it kept the dust and dirt out of that we'd take out every once in a while, clean it with gasoline, slap it back on there, and roll on again. So I'd be interested. That's something interesting we probably should look at here to find out how they're going to keep these cars from getting this dust and dirt into these. These are fuel injected. How do you keep that clean?
24 laps remaining. We're rounded lap 102 under caution number 3 of the night. And honestly, I think we're a bit surprised that we've only seen 3 cautions so far in the night with how difficult this track can be and how many times we've seen people slap the outside wall and perhaps get a bit more sideways than they should have. I am a bit surprised in all honesty, because you've seen how some of these people are getting like full 90 degrees sideways of the track here. I've seen Dynasty throw caution before for cars being that far sideways, not have enough race pace. Looking at you, Milwaukee Mile.
Well, the very, very, very interesting fact of it is Chris Johnson, Greg Wychinski, and Paul Olsen are all rolling on 100-lap tires. Everybody else has came in and got some freshes, except for Chris Severa, who's on 63-lap tires.
Pace car lights out. 22 to go when we take that green flag. Rounded lap 103 of 125 on the night. It has been an exciting one. We could be in for a pretty exciting finish as well. My vote to win this time around, though, Al, it's going to be Severa. He's been extremely dominant all night long. We can definitely expect him to continue to keep up with that performance. Pace car truck pulls off. He is off and away. Big jump. Wheel spin for Johnson. Sliding up the track. That lets Hoffman through on the bottom side, who's going to pick up the second position as they almost go 3 wide behind. Johnson trying to get the momentum on the high side to take back that second position. That 48 car is not giving up. He's going to go at Hoffman with everything he's got to try to take that second place away. But Hoffman is going to have it secured off of turn 4. Well, I say that, but here comes Johnson trying to get the run on it.
Well, Brian Johnson is trying to get around Greg Wychinski in that 2 machine there, and he finally gets around him. He wants back up to the front to battle with these guys because he's on his freshies. It's Kenny Powell in the 24 machine. He gets kind of squirrely, and Brian has to back off a little bit there. He needs to get around these lap cars in order to get up there and race. As we watch Craig Johnson slamming into the wall, and Brian just in that 4 machine, he just cannot get up there.
18 to go. 3 wide with Brian Johnson squeezing out Kenny Powell to the outside line. Wychinski's going to pick up a spot as well. So. Look at Johnson.
No to tail.
And Johnson's up and over on his side. Caution flag out 4th time today and turn at number 2. That all started when Craig Johnson spun himself around for the 2nd time tonight. Self-spin for the 83. Tagged the outside wall this time, though. Right in the racing line. Big contact with Brian Johnson. Head-on collision there. And unfortunately, Kenny Powell also nowhere to go. He tipped that 83 car onto his side. Somehow, Olsen squeaked through with no damage.
Well, I'm telling you, I got my butt kicker on tonight here and watching this race, and it is going absolutely bonkers right now. If you don't know what a butt kicker is, you need to go to ButtKicker.com and check this out. This is a system you can not only use on your simulator to kind of give you the feel of the engine rumbles and maybe the bumps in the track and everything like that, but you can also use this butt kicker system for your theater. If you have a movie that's coming on, Jurassic Park or anything like that, you can put a butt kicker system underneath your recliners, your couch, your sectional, whatever you want, and it'll kind of bring that movie to life. Check that out. Go to ButtKicker.com, and I think we got a discount code for that, if I'm not mistaken. It's ISCA 20, I believe it is, and you get 20% off a purchase.
$16 remaining at the moment, still in the caution for the 4th time today. I believe this is where we see all those yellow flags starting to come in. People are getting more desperate. They're trying to throw these cars in there more to make these moves work. Severa's got the first damage on his car that he has gotten all night long, but he continues to lead. It has been a clinic here for that 01 or 31 machine. Still don't know what number he's really wanted to run out there.
All right, knowing that butt kicker discount is the Butt Kicker, ISCA 20% off. And you'll get 20% off of your purchase if you go to ButtKicker.com. I wish we had a discount for Sugarland Distillery. Boy, their moonshine. You go to Gatlinburg, and they've got I think it's $5. You go there, and you can test every flavor they have. And it's kind of like a cheap drunk. You go for $5 and drink all that moonshine. They got proof from 60 proof all the way to 100 proof. You can almost run your weed eater off that distillery. knowing we've still got we got Chris Severa still up here, Chris Johnson, Clayton Hoffman, Brian Johnson. They're all still in the lead lap. That's only 4 cars in the lead lap. Wayne Grossi in that 7 machine, he just needs one more caution, or he needs to make it in front of the leader in order to get back on the lead lap.
Indeed he does, so it could be a very tight run there in the front of the field. Brian Johnson just leaves pit road right in front of the pacing line. 1 lap green. It'll be 14 to go when we take that green flag again. So hopefully the final time tonight.
Well, I don't think fresh tires are helping these guys at all. It looks like Chris Johnson, Clayton Hoffman, and Brian Johnson all came down and got some freshies on there. I don't think it's really helping them that much. I mean, they're still squirrely.
It's just coming down to fix damage, and they're figuring, well, why not? Let's just get tires while we're here. Looks like Base Truck's going to pull off this time by, though. Early jump this time for Severa. He gets on the loud pedal, off and away once again. Once again, Hoffman goes the inside, trying to go for the lead this time. Slide down to 48. Gives him the bumper, but Hoffman hangs on to P number 2.
Chris Johnson just literally just plowed right in the rear of that Clayton Hoffman's 92 machine.
What Johnson can do about it? Hoffman's left in front of him. You can't correct your line really quickly here on the dirt. Now Hoffman's trying to keep that inside line. Hoffman's trying to go for the lead here, trying to get on the inside of Chris Severa side by side for the race lead off of 2. Severa pulls around the outside, and now Severa's got to really worry here. Only 11 laps to go, and Hoffman is all over him. 1 car inside wall, back straightaway. Greg Wachinski takes a hit to the inside wall on the front straightaway, excuse me. So you got 8th on back, about 7th under a blanket. They're running nose to tail. The battle is certainly on, though, up front for 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, as those 3 cars are running strong. 10 to go.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here in anticipation because, remember, my pick to win this race is that car's running in the 2nd P2 position right now. If he can get around Chris Severa, I will break my streak of bad luck. So I am just sitting here in anticipation.
Severa continues to lead and continues to lead strong. Hoffman is still doing a great job at running that bottom side, but steps the back end down, put the power down a bit too eagerly on the exit of the corner there, and lost any momentum with the game.
If Clayton can get, there he goes, he gets in that bottom line, and that's where he's going to catch the most momentum to catching him. But he can't hit that wall like that. That's the problem. You got to stay off that wall. Get down into that fresh dirt, and you'll get the most drive off.
Problem is, he has to wash back up, though, into the slick stuff right at the worst possible time, which is when you want to get the power down to keep the momentum going. You can get it off of turn 2, but he's just not going to be able to make it through 3 or 4. He's going to have to follow Severa's line through 3 or 4 if he's going to have a shot at making this one work. 6 laps to go. Does Hoffman have enough time to run him in and get it done?
Well, here's a lap car coming up here. Is this going to play a part in this race here as he hits the wall? Who is that hitting the wall?
That's Powell.
That's Kenny Powell.
There slide, so does Hoffman. So Hoffman gained a lot, then lost a lot at the same time. Roughly 3/4 of a second separate them with 5 to go. I don't think Hoffman can get him. I think Severa's going to have this one in the bag.
Yeah, it does look like that, but don't count your chickens before they're hatched. I mean, anything could happen. Severa may be driving out of his rear view mirror, and there could be a caution that comes out. And that caution, I mean, if Clayton Hoffman gets a heck of a jump, he may take that lead away from him. And all he has to do is take it and keep it. But, Chris Johnson is doing that notorious, I'm going to keep hitting the wall. And Kenny Powell, he decides he wants to climb the wall. He wants to try to ride the fence around. That doesn't work for him too well. We literally have 3 laps left in this race. We're going to have 2 laps coming around here. All Chris Severa has to do is stay in front of Clayton Hoffman.
Severa, this one has got over a second gap, so he does not have to worry at all as gets a bit close to the ball that time by, so you almost had your wish there and had Severa tagged the outside wall. Coming around, though. White to go half a mile of dirt racing left. The first dirt race we've ever seen here at the ISCA. And Chris Severa stole the lead from Hoffman early and has just kept the lead ever since then. Now he's just got around 2 more corners, and Severa will get it done. It has been a clinic for Chris Severa, who takes his first victory in the ISCA and wins it at the Bristol Dirt Track. 125 laps will go to that 0-1 machine. Severa finishes off in second. Johnson has to settle for third.
Oh, that would be Clayton Hoffman finishing out in second and Chris Johnson finishing in third. Brian Johnson in fourth. Wayne Grossi in fifth. Paul Olson in sixth. Greg Wachinski seventh. Craig Johnson eighth. Kenny Powell ninth. Randy Drumhiller rounds out the top 10 who raced with us tonight. And we're going to take a quick break and come back to speak to not only our race winner, but Clayton Hoffman and Chris Johnson.
ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Get yours today at thebuttkicker.com and be sure to use our 20% discount promo code ISCA20.
Welcome back to Bristol on Dirt, baby. We got this Sugarland ButtKicker race in the books, where the winner is Chris Severa. Second place is Clayton Hoffman, and third place is Chris Johnson. Let's see if I can make contact with Chris. Right in the wall, Johnson. Chris, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Chris, can you explain to me how long it's going to take you to realize that hitting that wall is not going to get you around the track any faster?
The car just kind of gravitated towards wall. I couldn't help it. Car was crap.
I didn't understand. I thought maybe you watched that invitational race with the Cup drivers there yesterday where they showed those little blips of that guy hitting the wall and then climbing the fence and trying to ride the whole racetrack around on the fence. And I thought maybe you were going to try to mimic that. But congratulations on that third place finish. You just managed to stay in front of Brian.
Thank you. It was tough, but the ISCA Southern Spiral Ford did pretty good today. Brought home a third place. That's a win in my book.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This is a very rough track, and you kind of made it a little bit easy, but it kind of showed me a technique that I may try. I may get in another A Open and just keep hitting the wall and see if I can get a third place out of it.
I was throwing everything but the book at Chris Severa. I was trying my best, trying to get around him, but he was just way too fast, and that resulted in me getting into the wall one too many times.
Well, it looked like you had it for a minute. You were really getting it down pat, and I think Severa just kind of threw a couple different blocks that kind of threw you off your mojo. But, hey, third place is nothing to sneeze at. Congratulations. You got any sponsors you want to thank tonight, bud?
Spiral Pipe is my main sponsor. Of course, Kenny Powell, ISCA. Thanks to him for all he does for us, putting a great league together. And very good job on his part, and I appreciate him.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and putting on a good show for us tonight, and congratulations on your third place, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Clayton Hoffman in that 92 machine. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Clayton, walk us through this thing. You look like a contender. You were my pick to win the race, and I swore you were going to do it for me tonight. And even at the very end, I still thought it. But you kind of couldn't get Chris Severa. You guys look like you're kind of equal in power there, so you just couldn't get to him. Did you have some problems early on?
Yeah, I got some damage early when I was in the lead. A car in front of me checked up. I checked up too, and that was just the wrong reflex. You need to, gun it to get it sideways. Use that as your brake, get it in the corner, and hit the wall, lost the lead, and kind of just went backwards from there for a bit. I got really sideways one time coming out of a corner, and Greg and Wayne were behind me, and they hit each other. And as I tried to get back onto the, I think it was the back stretch, they were sliding across right in front of me, and I could not get out of the way there. So kind of just shot myself in the foot there, starting that, and I just tried to work my way back up. At the end of the race, we were pretty even still. Damage doesn't seem to really do too much to you unless you get really severe damage to the wheels or to the engine. And I think we were pretty much the same speed, but I tried too hard to carry too much speed through the corner, and I just kept losing all my momentum. And Chris was just able to get away. I just didn't have enough for him, really.
Well, you certainly did look like you were going to give it all, buddy, and I was hoping and praying you get up there. I need to break this curse, but maybe next week. Congratulations on that second place finish, Clayton Hoffman. How about some sponsors? We got some people we want to thank.
Yeah, just thank my team, G&G. It's always fun racing them. It's fun racing in this event that hosted by Kenny, or this league hosted by Kenny. This track was a lot of fun to beat and bang, and just kind of, have fun, not worry too much about where you finish. It's just kind of just sliding around out there, just trying to have a good time.
Again, Clayton Hoffman in that 92 machine. Congratulations on coming in second. Hopefully we'll talk to you again next week on this podium. Nolan, why don't you see if you can get a hold of Chris putting on the Clinic Severa and see if he'll answer for you and go ahead and close this event out for us.
Well, Chris, if you got a copy of this, it appears like we have finally found Clayton Hoffman's kryptonite. He has finally been stopped by yourself here at our one and only dirt race, the first dirt race, in fact, that we've ever had here in the ISCA. So what are your thoughts here coming off of such an event? Well, with all the sliding that we saw going on, it certainly made the race entertaining. Hoffman was pretty close to running you down there, and we saw you guys having some great battles in the opening stages of the race as well. So what was it like, not just even trying to drive the track, but trying to fight side by side with people here? This was certainly one of the wild card races. We kind of look forward, though, and we got another wild card race coming up just next week. It is going to be the 60-lapper at iRacing Super Speedway. What are your thoughts going into that monster of a track? It's certainly beating Martinsville in the terms of being the world's fastest paperclip. So what are your thoughts coming into that race? Again, newcomer here to the series. Before we let you go here, Chris, anybody that you'd like to shout out for today, stage is yours. Thank you, Chris, for taking the time to come on out here and join us for tonight. Congratulations on the win.
And that's going to conclude our Sugarland butt kicker at the Bristol Dirt for tonight. And next week, We're going at a track that we've never really seen before. Some of us have raced it, some of us haven't. It's like a Daytona or Talladega stretched out. It's going to be something you are not going to want to miss. Until then, I'm Al Kozlowski, Nolan Rempel. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week.